A few days ago, I asked you all to leave your controversial tennis discussion topics in the comment section of this community post. You guys did your job, so it's time for me to do mine. So without further ado, let's get into the first discussion topic. You asked for controversial questions? Okay. Djokovic is ruining the watchability of tennis by turning so many young players into serve-bot and aggressive baseliner. I get what you are saying, but I can't say that I agree with your statement. Obviously, Djokovic is great. Obviously, sometimes his results and matches are kinda inevitable. Even before the match you will know the end result, but that comes with the territory of being the greatest of all time. One player cannot ruin the watchability of the whole sport. You can watch, I don't know, hundreds of other matches that are happening during the day, so Djokovic is not the one ruining the watchability. You just kinda need to learn how to ignore him if you don't care about him winning every single title there is. I understand that it's not the case this year, but previous years that was definitely the case. So I would suggest to you to learn how to adapt and watch your favorite players and care less about the guys that you think that are not watchable. I don't care one bit about Margaret Court, just saying that really grinds some gears. Actually, I don't like all tennis fans either. Tennis is too traditional and gets in its own way. Yes, I do agree that Margaret Court is not like anything special. And I might come out with a hot take of my own, but I genuinely think that Margaret Court is not a top 100 player in the history of women's tennis. I understand that she won 20 plus Grand Slams, but let's be honest with ourselves, she played those Grand Slams against some maids. She didn't play Grand Slam tennis against players that are actually great. So I agree, her being in a discussion of being one of the greatest tennis players of all time is just laughable in my opinion. Which hyped up prodigy, Donald Young, Nick Kyrgios, Denis Shapovalov and more do you think would have been a GOAT if their careers turn out to be light years better than the career that they have? My pick for the biggest what if career in terms of prodigies is Hyun Chon. We all saw that he's talented, we all saw that he had potential when he beat Novak Djokovic and other great players. There was that potential to be one of the greats of this era, but unfortunately injuries ruined his career. And I pick him as the biggest what if scenario because it actually was something that he couldn't control that ruined his career. Because for example, someone like Donald Young, he was just too overhyped. Nick Kyrgios just chose his own way, and Denis Shapovalov maybe wasn't that great to begin with. So I choose Hyun Chon as the biggest prodigy who could have achieved much more in his career. Who will win more slams, Alcaraz or Sinner? To be honest, I think it's an easy question for me. For me, it's Carlos Alcaraz. In my opinion, Alcaraz is all-time great and Sinner is just great. I don't believe in the longevity of Sinner, to be honest, and that's why I don't think that he will get more Grand Slams or more titles than Carlos. I understand that Jannik Sinner is great right now, but here we are talking about the future and I just see that Carlos will have a brighter future. That's it. Holger Rune will never come close to Sinner and Alcaraz and might win one slam, and the new big three will be Sinner, Alcaraz and Bernard Tomic. Bernard Tomic jokes in 2024. Sorry to break it to you, but they are not funny anymore. Who is the best prospect to complete a trio as the new big three? Honestly, I feel insulted that this is even a question now, because it is so obviously Holger Rune, like it's so obvious. He has the talent, he is insane, so you know that he will work hard to get to the best of his abilities. He has the passion, he has the balls to compete against the best, and he has that it factor that you have to be the best in the world. And I have no doubt in my mind that throughout his career there will be a time when he will be the best in the world. Which upcoming youngster do you think is the most overrated and won't live up to the hype? It's an easy answer for me. I think Hamad Medjedovic will not be as great as some people say he will. He will maybe become a top 30 player in his career, but I don't see him becoming the successor to Novak Djokovic. And some people think that he can do that just because he has the help of Novak Djokovic himself. But I just don't see anything special in him. There was a research paper done which concluded that statistically speaking, Grand Slam draws in 2000s and early 2010s were fixed to give the top two seeds, mostly Federer and Nadal, the easiest path to the final. I won't even continue reading that, that's just bullshit, but thank you for the comment though. The lead courts for serve, no catch and sorry for the ball toss on the serve. 5th and 3rd set respective of the format should be 1st to 10 tiebreak and the tournaments would all be better. Completely agree with your comment, maybe adding lead courts is not that necessary, but other than that I completely believe that this is something that tennis should implement. Do you think Sinner has kind of become boring to watch lately? He didn't become boring, he always was a player who needed the right dance partner in order to have a great match. That's just my opinion, I just don't think that he has that it factor when you watch him. He seems like just another player who plays great tennis and that's it. How many Grand Slams do you think Carlos would have won if he was in the same era as Big 3 and now aged 37? He would have won 70 Grand Slam titles. Who is your least favorite player in tennis and why? On the ATP Tour is Sasha Zverev, on the WTA Tour it's Aryna Sabalenka. The reasons are really similar. Both of them remind me of Jon Jones, and if you don't know who Jon Jones is, he's an UFC fighter who portrays this character as if he's a great guy, but there is undisputable evidence that he is a piece of shit. And the same goes for Sasha Zverev and Aryna Sabalenka. For some reason they try to prove to people that they are great personalities, but in the reality they are pieces of shit. That's it. That's why I hate them. Why is Rune still hated? Are people really still not over his interaction with Ruud almost 2 years ago when he was like a teen-year-old? Really? Yes, people still hate Rune because he is bad. And you ask those people, why do you dislike Rune, and they say that he complains a lot, but in the reality when he complains he mostly is in the right. Well, he takes fake medical timeouts. What? To that I can just say shut the fuck up and watch the match and don't be a doctor from your couch. They're so nitpicky about Holger Rune that anything he does can be turned into a negative. And honestly, I don't think it will ever change, but it's something that I think Holger will be able to live with. Is it possible nowadays for the youngsters to develop a Rafa Novak mentality, as I can see young guys are too weak mentally? And honestly, I feel like this is just an old head comment. They say the same thing about Kobe and Jordan in basketball, but in the reality, people that are playing right now are mentally tough. They just show their toughness in different ways. They are more laid back, they are more calm in situations, and that's it. They are just different and you have to accept those differences. Young players don't need to become Novak or Rafa to be great, they have to become the best that they can be. That is the recipe for success and not copying someone who was great before you. The GOAT debate is stupid as it divides fans from appreciating all three players and causes said fans to be toxic in a community. The biggest problem with the GOAT debate is that the fans of their respective players are just not funny. As you say, they are just so toxic, there is nothing funny about anything they say. They either diminish the accomplishments of their rivals or they come up with conspiracy theories. There is no in between. I have never seen a funny interaction between Rafa fan and Novak fan on Twitter, for example. They repeat the same shit over and over and over again and it's fucking stupid. And yes, the GOAT debate is stupid because I cannot fathom the fact that there are people in this world who actually care who is the greatest tennis player of all time. Like, why does it matter whether your favorite is the #1 or #3 greatest player of all time? Like, who the fuck cares? Why does Nadal always play low-ranked nobodies in the first rounds when his ranking says otherwise and should be playing top-seeded opponents? Again, it's just a myth. Just look at the Grand Slams, for example, look at the draws and look at how many qualifiers play against the qualifiers, or how many non-seeded players play against another non-seeded player. It's just how tennis draw works. I'm tired of this discussion topic. Because again, it's just the same thing, like creating conspiracy theories, and for what? What is the benefit of saying that, oh, Nadal gets given opponents in his first round matchups? Okay. What should I do with that information? Like, what is the end goal of this? Because you cannot prove that it is the case. And you cannot prove that it's not the case. So it's just pointless to have discussion about this. Who is a player outside of the top 50 that you could see come into the top this year? You know, everyone can say like someone like João Fonseca, who is unbelievable talent for his age. But I'll go for someone who you will not expect. And it's Giovanni Pecci Pericard. Most of you probably are saying, who the fuck is that guy? And I can understand you, but I think that he can become the next serve bot in the top 50. His serve is unbelievable, you can barely see the ball when he serves. Obviously his rally tolerance should be worked on, but if he does that, then I can see him becoming a top 50 player this year. Is men's tennis better than women's tennis? Yes. Novak Djokovic will beat Iga Swiatek 99 times out of 100, if not 100 times out of 100. But with that being said, I feel like women's tennis is the only women's sport that I watch where you can say that it is as entertaining as men's sport. And that is what I care about when I watch sports. I care about entertainment. So in my opinion, women's tennis is obviously not better, but it is as entertaining as men's tennis. Is Ostapenko's weight affecting her performance? No, it's not. She plays singles, doubles. If there's a Grand Slam, she plays mixed doubles. She plays everything, so it's obvious that her weight is not affecting her performance. It's such a weak talking point, because you cannot prove that her weight actually influences her game in a negative way. So why even bring it up? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And the question that everyone has on their mind is Djokovic finished or will he win another slam? And I like this question because there is no non-controversial way to answer this question. Because if you say that he will win Grand Slams, then people will say, oh, you don't believe in the young generation? And if you say that he will not win any Grand Slams, then people will say, oh, you are doubting the GOAT? But with that being said, I think that Novak Djokovic will not win another Grand Slam in his career. It's even crazy to say out loud, but I genuinely feel it in my body. I feel like his time has gone by, and people just have to accept it. Oh, and as well, he will not win Olympics this year. Sorry. Thank you for sending in the controversial questions. Now it's time for us to discuss them in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take it easy.